Greetings from the Sedona, Arizona back yet again. I'm just chock full of stories today. So something that I've realized has been happening more and more the last year or so is that I'm encountering men who are complimenting me, like meaning romantically, guys who there's some kind of flirtiness with, some kind of romantic interest or sexual interest on apps or in person or whatever. I'm finding that more and more men are complimenting me using words that are more traditionally used with women, meaning words like beautiful or cute, or even a guy called me pretty. And I feel like a lot of guys would not want to be called those words, but personally, I'm loving it because I think as a boy who's always been more gentle and like never thought of myself as masculine, it's a kind of eerie place to be that I feel like all of a sudden men are celebrating, and out loud they are vocalizing that they are not only okay with me being a more gentle boy than them and having, like these light eyes and long eyelashes, certain features that are not that masculine, right? Physically and I guess personality-wise. And for them to vocalize that, first of all, I think is beautiful itself. Like, I think that's such a vulnerable thing as a guy to feel comfortable telling another guy those things versus, the typical like, oh bro, you're hot, or bro, like we should totally fuck or whatever. But not only do I think it's vulnerable and beautiful of them to say, but it makes me feel a certain kind of way that I'm like, oh, I'm embraced for not necessarily being masculine. When I grew up always thinking I would never be attractive unless I was masculine enough, more masculine than I naturally felt that I was. So what I'm kind of puzzled at is, why is this happening so much recently? Is it just chance? Is it that I'm moving about the world and life with even gentler and less guarded sort of armor? But it's really interesting. Or is it just a sign of the times? And I think it might be that more and more men are becoming more and more comfortable with their sexuality and asking for what they want and saying what they want and what they like. And also more and more I'm encountering guys who were previously bisexual or previously straight. And I've always encountered that, but it's happening more and more and more. And I'm wondering how much of that is guys who don't want to deal with the societal pressures of being with women, sexually or romantically, and who have always maybe kind of had a curiosity about guys, but now, since COVID, since all the sort of social and cultural changes happening, that maybe now they're like willing to put both feet in the water. And the sad part for me is I'm like, oh, I could have just always been myself and that would have been enough. Like, I never had to put up a front or try to act more manly growing up. So it's a beautiful lesson, don't get me wrong, but it's also it screws with your mind to think that one day you have these expectations that I guess you project on yourself, thinking other people expect them of you. And meanwhile, who knew that there were all these guys walking around who were attracted to me not being maybe as masculine as they are. And I think it's so interesting. Do you guys relate to this at all, you gay men who are watching this?